Yo, what is going on, Cover One crew? Welcome back to the show. Hope everybody is good, man. What a game it was on Thursday Night Football. The Dirty Birds, the Atlanta Falcons, they are back. Kirk Cousins looked absolutely fantastic. Yes, Breece Hall, or Bijan Robinson, is not looking the best, but that game was so good. So many points flying off the board, and we're talking about that today. Boomer Bust, week number 5. Who's going to boom, who's going to bust? Even though we saw a lot of booming on that Thursday Night Football contest, I still got a lot of players on the board that will be booming this week as well. It is a plentiful list, so let's dive into those running backs. Breece Hall taking on Minnesota up in London. And I mean, okay, so far the Jets and Breece Hall, they've played quite well. Let's be real. It hasn't been great overall, but they played quite well. Some issues do appear to be between Coach Salah and Aaron Rodgers. I don't know what the hell is going on with those two gentlemen, but we do see some issues there. But as far as Breece Hall is concerned, I mean, it's been mostly gravy. Last week, I mean, it was, here, I'm going to say it right now. I did disrespect the Denver Broncos defense quite a bit. I got to give them a lot more flowers, as I was way too light on them, and they look really good. They have a unit that literally can stop anybody, and it halted Breece Hall to only 2.8 points last week, and this week facing the Vikings in London. I mean, so get up early, but I'm telling y'all, the Vikings defense is very sound as well. They will make it very tough for Breece to run free, but Breece does have a 75% boom rate in the first 4 weeks, which is good news. We know Breece is elite. Bounce back boom for Breece Hall over across the pond this week. Najee Harris taking on the Dallas Cowboys. And I mean, saying an underwhelming so far for the Steelers running attack is basically an understatement for me. And I mean, while Justin Fields is definitely starting to figure things out, Najee hasn't necessarily managed to crack more than 11 points so far this season. It has been a struggle, man. Harris also sounded off in the media last week, which was kind of interesting to say the least, feeling that like disdain for a Justin Fields. Everybody talking about Fields. He says, we are a team. We're better than that. He was tired of hearing it. You could definitely see. But, I mean, having a decent floor of 8 points with a topper of 11, you know you could do a lot worse than a Najee Harris at this point. I mean, only one boom resides right now when they face the Dallas Cowboys without a Micah Parsons, so I'm telling you, that's a big one as well. Najee could roam free, find some holes, but I think either way, a touchdown's the only thing saving his day, and I'm saying it's going to be very difficult for him to find it because Justin Fields is running the football. I'm calling a bust once again for a Najee Harris. Austin Ekeler taking on those Cleveland Brownies and the Commies. I'm telling y'all, they've been one of the most exciting teams so far this season, and led by super rookie Jaden Daniels. This run game has been plentiful, y'all, up in Washington. And I mean, now with the hit that Brian Robinson may sit in this contest because he has not practiced all week due to his own ailment. Ekeler is on the right side of coming back from his concussion clearance and protocols. We could install him right now as the volume back if a B-Rob does sit and Austin Ekeler does play. Jeremy McNichols did look good last week, almost scoring 20 points. He will have a role also if a B-Rob does go down and he's not playing this week. Eckler's been super reliable so far this season before going down with that concussion, having 2 boom games in 3. I'm telling y'all, man, it's going to be vintage Austin Ekeler boom time, baby, for this running back that we all love in Austin Ekeler. Ramondre Stevenson taking on the Miami Dolphins, and I get it. It's been a struggle, basically, since week 1 and 2 for New England. I mean, especially for Ramondre. My dude, he's seen better days. There is no question. Fumbles are becoming a major issue once again. Coaching staff being, basically saying it's a big problem at this point. Booming in both week 1 and 2. Dre's only seen, 7.5 points in the last 2 contests. Coach Mayo said the fumbles are a big concern, and Antonio Gibson, the other Gibby, I mean, he could have a starting role this week as well. While I do think it is a lot of coach speak, you got to read between the lines in this one as well. Could be something that motivated Ramondre to play better and may give Gibby the start this week. But, I mean, the Finns are also, they can't get out of their own way. It's a big problem right now in Miami. So, I mean, at this point, he could break out of his funk this week. We saw what Tony Pollard did to them last week, but I just won't bet on it this week. I'm going to call a bust again for a Ramondre Stevenson. Wide receiver Stefon Diggs taking on the Buffalo Bills. And, I mean, if there was ever a time to get your popcorn ready, now is the the week to load up. Revenge games, baby. Number one for a Stefon Diggs versus the Buffalo Bills. And you know he wants this game big time, man. Houston hasn't necessarily been the offensive power just yet that we all had envisioned and thought of at the beginning of the season, but they have shown big signs of flash. Diggs, on the other hand, okay, he's been a big part of the offense so far, but it's been more in promoting and helping a Nico Collins become that star on the field. He's pulling a lot of coverage away from Nico, and Diggs still has 3 out of 4 boom games so far in his resume this season as well. So Buffalo, they struggled last week. Let's be real. And I believe they're going to come out a lot better this week. They get some players back from injury. Shakir may sit as well. But you got to believe, man, I mean, the way that Diggs is going to be playing in this contest, you know he's going to try to put on a show. He's getting into that end zone in the big-time revenge game. We're calling revenge boom for a Diggy. It is, no question for me. He's going to be ready to go. DJ Moore taking on the Carolina Panthers. And here we have yet another revenge game on the books where DJ Moore takes on his former club in the Panthers. And I get it, okay? Caleb Williams, he's starting to figure things out a little bit. They looked a lot better running the football last week, which was also good. The usage for Moore has been meek at best. Only 1 boom game in his first 4 isn't something we thought was going to be the standard in 2024. But I'm telling y'all, a breakout game would be coming in this one, and it should, because it is a revenge game that we're all looking for. It could be a struggle early, but at least DJ Moore found the end zone last week. Maybe it'll be the similar situation. I'm calling a, lower end boom, but I'm going to say boom for a DJ Moore. He should eat on the revenge week. Tyreek Hill taking on the New England Patriots. And I mean, this one hurts probably to the largest proportions that we've ever seen when talking about drafting top end first overall, to what? Number 5 type of player in our fantasy drafts. And I mean, no Tua clearly means no points for this offense. And I mean, the water's starting to boil over in Miami. You can see it. It's frustrating. Tyreek's getting mad. And what makes it even worse, there is no run game as of late. And I mean, Coach McDaniels can't even scheme up ways to get his speedsters and Jalen Waddle time and a Tyreek Hill screens and drags to at least move this offense. Tyreek over the last 3 weeks has been hit only to under 7 points. It is not good, man. Only week 1 boom so far under his belt. And Tyler Snoop Huntley is definitely again poised to start this week once again. I mean, I'm banking on maybe shorter runs, shorter plays, better schemes from Coach McDaniels to get them moving in the right direction in the open field. You gotta believe a boom is coming once again for the Cheetah. It's been far too long to keep this man under shackles. It is time to break him out once again. Figure it out, Coach McDaniel, because we need a boom from Tyreek. Davien Wicks versus the LA Rams. Okay, all off season, we heard Jordan Love talk up his boy Wicks, and I mean, it started out to be nothing short of a disappointment. Scoring, 2 games so far this season with 0 points. The first one in Brazil, we saw Wicks get some targets, but he was dropping everything to come his way. But he came to life last week as the Packers were in comeback mode versus the Minnesota Vikings. And this week, no Christian Watson. Romeo Doubs also dealing with some sort of injury ailment. This means, man, I mean, Wicks also does have a nose for that end zone as well, which is awesome. But I'm telling y'all, if the drops don't hurt him this week like they did in week 1 and 3, and he comes back the way he was last week, his role should be absolutely huge coming off the waiver wire. Wicks will eat heavy with his boy Jordan Love. Boom time for a Davien Wicks. Tight ends, Pat Freiermuth, the Muth, taking on the Dallas Cowboys. And I mean, going back to the offseason, you guys know how much I was preaching up a Muth as one of my sleeper lower end ADP to return on investment tight ends. And, I mean, he got back on track last week, finally. I mean, he had massive success in the red zone throughout his entire career, even going back to his college days. He was the dude when you're looking for a touchdown, you pass it to the Muth. And, I mean, okay, tight end's been absolutely a garbage shoot this season. Anything basically over 5 points is being counted as a victory, and it's been bad. But at least Kyle Pitts had a big one on Thursday Night Football, and I think last week as well, Fields is also, starting to figure it out, finding his tight end more frequently, edging him out to 14.2 points last week, giving him his first boom game of the season. And I do think it is to the point where Fields is starting to look a lot more comfortable, and the Muth should continue to have that bigger role with playing beside a George Pickens. I think a TD boom is coming once again for the Muth. Brock Bowers taking on the Denver Broncos. Okay, we said it all, man. Generational rookie tight end. It started off looking good. He looked like that dude as well. He comes back down to earth after these past 2 weeks. Gardner Minshew, we know what he is. He's not anything special, and it was one of my biggest concerns with Davante Adams coming into the season. Could Gardner Minshew support Adams? Could he support all these weapons? And clearly right now the controversy is Davante Adams wants out of Las Vegas with the Raiders, and I mean, it's looming large. He wants out of there big time. And I mean, while the Raiders, they definitely could force the ball to Brock versus a very stingy Broncos defense, they are truly legit, and I will not make that mistake again this week. They're going to make Minshew run for his life. There is no question. It should be a very long day for these Raiders. I'm calling a third straight bust for this rookie tight end in Brock Bowers. George Kittle taking on the Arizona Cardinals. And, man, like a lot of these teams, the 49ers dealing with so many injuries this season, Kittle included. He missed week 3, but came back to hit in week number 4. And the Niners, they continue to use George as the primary target, fading somebody like a Brandon Ayuk at this point. No Christian McCaffrey still, but Mason is running very well, coming off a win in efficient fashion last week. Kittle hit his second boom game of the season that week and taking on the Cards this week, who also need a bounce back themselves. Brock Purdy and Kittle will have a lot to say about that. I truly believe it. And I mean, while this could also be an Ayuk week because he definitely has not seen better days so far this season, and you got to believe that it will be coming. I'm betting on Kittle to get back to the goods. Let's call another boom for a George Kittle. Last one, Jake Ferguson taking on these Pittsburgh Steelers. The Dallas Cowboys have been, you want to say porous overall. I mean, they've had some good moments, but they've been pretty dreadful so far this season. Doesn't look to get much better this week, taking on the Steelers defense on Sunday Night Football. Dak always loves to throw to his tight ends. You know this, and it's going to continue to force feed the position on the regular. Even when Luke Schoonmaker filled in, I told you I'll play Schoonmaker when he filled in for Ferg, and he still got, 7 half PPR points that week. And Ferg his target share is nice. He's coming from a back-to-back boom game so far these past 2 weeks. And then with Brandon Cooks also dealing with an injury, likely out of this contest. I believe he's already been ruled out. So the target share is going to be coming to this tight end along with a CeeDee Lamb. The run game is basically non-existent. They got to recreate it with the passes to the tight end. So I'm telling y'all, Ferg for the third straight week is a boom incoming, and you got to play him everywhere you got him. I absolutely love it. But there you have it. That is Boomer Bust week number 5. Can't believe it's already week number 5. The season is rolling, and if you're losing in your leagues, do never give up. I will help you along the way. We'll fix your teams. Get in those comments. I'll help you out in any which way I possibly can. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts, and we'll see you next time. I am out.